that's where the real
That's it. Yeah. You won't be here long. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for attending this meeting of the Blythewood Planning Commission on March the 7th, 2022. Just one moment, we have one more commissioner coming to join us. All right, we can continue. Kirk, would you hold the roll call, please?
Yes. Malcolm Gorge?
Here.
Ed Kessler?
Here.
Erica Page?
Here.
Marcus Taylor?
Here.
Ken Coleman?
Here.
Martin Wells?
Here.
Jamal Mosley?
Here.
Thank you. And can you confirm the notification and posting of the agenda for tonight's meeting?
Yes.
Thank you. So that we can proceed, I need a motion to adopt the agenda. Second. A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The agenda is adopted. Thank you. Could you now join me with the Pledge of Allegiance? The next item on our agenda is the approval of our previous meeting, which was a joint meeting with Town Council a month ago. Commissioners, you've had a chance to review the minutes in your packet. Are there any corrections, adjustments? Hearing none, can I hear a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I motion. Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to item number 2, the first action item, which is a zoning map amendment. Mr. Williamson, would you set the scene for us on that one, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes. Applicant is requesting to rezone the property located at 11,000 block of Wilson Boulevard, tax map number 15200-03-17, from Development District D1 to Community Commercial District CC with an Architectural Overlay District. The land area is approximately 7.1 acres in size. Surrounding zoning districts to the north is a rural with a residential use. To the east is zoned neighborhood commercial, but has a residential use. To the south is zoned community commercial and is currently unoccupied. And to the west is a development district and it's undeveloped. The associated future land use map and the 2020-2030 Blythewood Comprehensive Plan designates the property as being rural residential. Community commercial zoning district is not listed as a compatible use in Table 10.1, the Future Land Use Compliance Index for this land use classification. However, it is adjacent to existing community commercial on the south side. Nevertheless, staff has some concerns about the high intensity of the uses of the zoning district in proximity to much less of intensive existing uses and zoning districts in the surrounding area.
Thank you. Do you know if the applicant is present this evening?
Yes, I believe so.
Very good. Well, if you'd like to step forward and give us your name and address, and we'd like to hear a little bit more about your plans. I don't have the list of people that have signed in. Thank you.
Good evening, members. My name is Taimi Ta'ala. I currently reside on 145 Churchland Drive here on Landon Station. I wish to convert this zoning to community commercial for a self-storage facility. It will have buildings of climate controls and drive up, and also a lot specifically for RVs and boats of that nature. So that is the primary plan for now.
Okay, Commissioners, we had a lot of questions that were lined up at our last meeting, but I know you were unable to attend.
Yes, sir.
Would anyone like to ask the applicant for any further information before we open it up to the other people that have signed in?
Yeah, you said for now, it's for RV storage, and this is bringing household goods to the store. So you got any thoughts of changing it to something else?
No, sir.
I just asked because you said for now.
Yes, because as of right now, I can't do anything to it until you guys approve it to change the zoning. So right now, that's the plan forward.
And your last name again, sir?
Ta'ala.
Ta'ala. Mr. Ta'ala, one question I have, are there any existing models within the area or Columbia that you plan to, I guess, pattern or design your lot after? Would it be a recognizable brand that may be in existence elsewhere?
To be honest with you, I'll be conducting it under a Midland Storage LLC, so that will be my own.
Hey, Mr. Todd, Ken Coleman. Just a quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
So based on how the land is currently structured, have you already considered your ingress and egress routes for people that will be utilizing your storage areas to not disrupt the local areas around it?
Yes, sir. At this time, speaking to my architect and stuff, they say we'll have only one entrance and one exit, and for them to maintain in a certain area at the far north of that lot, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
And to expand on that, with regards to layout, with it having the overnight, with the like RVs and trucking, will you have like floodlights? I mean, huge lights in regards to for people to see?
Yes, ma'am. So basically, the whole area will be covered with lights and security cameras for all the neighborhoods, for everybody that lives there. Because looking into the self-storage facilities, I know people, they will sign a contract for it, and then they store stuff that's prohibited. So therefore, we have to have cameras to monitor these folks from running business and stuff like that in a storage facility. According to the state of South Carolina, you cannot do that and store hazardous materials in it.
Sir, what are the proposed hours of operation, and how many different storage units?
I'm looking at 300 units, sir. The hours of operation will be 08 to 1800, and then it's all self-access by key codes and that type of nature, sir.
And I think one of the questions that we had at our previous meeting was the style of the storage units. or is it just parking for RVs, or a mix, or just?
It's a mixture, sir. It's going to be split approximately in two. So the other one, the self-storage, will be with buildings, which is going to be consisting of 10 by 10s and 10 by 20s, 5 by 10s, and then the RV and boat will be on the most likely closer to the fence line, sir.
It's quite a sizable property. It's 7 acres or so. So how much of the property is going to be dedicated to this enterprise?
Most likely, because in this property, we're going to have to need a what you call a retention pond.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, that is accounted into all this. So most likely, I'll say 60% of the whole lot will probably be the self-storage and the RVs and boat, or 60 to 80%, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Tyler. For the moment, I don't think there are any more questions, but there are a number of people in the audience that have some comments to make. So I can excuse you for the time being. And
thank you, sir.
Thank you. The first person on the list is Mr. Robert McLean. If you'd like to come up and express your views.
Good evening, Commissioners. Everybody hear me okay?
Yes, indeed.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. My name is Robert McLean, and I live at 11042 Wilson Boulevard, which is also the address immediately to the east of the proposed zoning change request. I want to formally state at the beginning that I am opposed to this zoning request change for a number of different reasons, which I feel are both valid and make good sense. Primarily from an aesthetic reason, if you look at where this property is, it is what I would consider to be the gateway to Blythewood from the north. If you look at coming down 21 from Charlotte or other areas in the state, this would be one of the first things you would see coming into the greater town of Blythewood itself. The second thing I want to mention is that, as you stated previously, this zoning would be incompatible with the master plan. Having viewed the master plan and its proposal, I agree with the vast majority of it, and I think it's a good sense proposal to intelligently put like businesses with one another and look at the overall impact of the broader range of residents and types of businesses in Blythewood. The third reason would be that it's a residential area, and knowing the type of homes in the area, I don't feel it's compatible, and I know many of the other residents don't feel it's compatible as well. All this to say is I'm not attempting to stop progress. I use a self-storage facility myself. I understand their merits and their need, but there's been a precedence set in the area of areas that would be more appropriate for a self-service facility. You look to the south of Blythewood, there's several long-term truck storage as well as self-serve storage facilities that would likely be a better place for this. One of the last reasons I have apprehension is that living across from the property, I personally have serious doubts the property can be used feasibly as a storage facility, which leads into probably the most important aspect to this, in that once the zoning is changed, it could be a self-storage facility, but it could open up opportunities to be used for something else. Things that might not be desirable to be in that gateway into Blythewood. So my ask is to be very careful in looking at this in the zoning request, and it's for all these reasons that I feel that the request should be denied for the community commercial zoning. Thank you. Any questions for me before I step down? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McLean. The next person on the list is Caroline Lomas. If you'd like to step forward, Caroline. Thank you.
Hello, ladies Ladies and gentlemen, I want to come before you today on behalf of the northern part of the town of Blythewood. We, on the strip of land going up north of this property and across the street, are all residences. The land behind it is also now a property that has been zoned for residence also. The property adjacent to it on the south was grandfathered in when the town of Blythewood extended its borders. So that small property there was grandfathered in. I am opposed to the rezoning of it, and I would like for y'all to consider all of the men and women and boys and girls that live in that area. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lomas. And Mr. Christy Lomas, if you would like to step forward. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity to voice opinion. We've lived just north of this particular property since 1974, and we really enjoy the rural residential part of the neighborhood. And it's understanding that this new zoning would allow for things that we don't think are conducive to a good family situation. So we humbly ask that this request be denied.
Thank you, Mr. Lomas. Any more questions for Mr. Lomas? Thank you. The next person on the list is Tima Ta'ala. That's yourself, right? So we've done that. Jamie McLean.
Thank you. Good evening. It's kind of the same thing everybody else. I live across the street. I am opposed to the rezoning. And just to kind of elaborate on what everybody's saying about the zoning. This zoning allows for beer and wine stores, liquor stores. You could have a bar, nightclub, cocktail lounge, sexually oriented businesses. All of these fall under that same designation. You've got convenience stores with and without gasoline. You've got automotive parking, rooming houses, multifamily residential, title loan, bail bonds, tattoo parlor, piercings, and that's not what we're looking for in Blythewood. And I think y'all agreed in the beginning this does not fall under the master plan. So again, I'm just kind of stating what everybody else is saying, that I would be opposed to the change.
Thank you, sir. And last but not least, Mrs. Janet Timms. Thank you, Janet.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Janet Timms. I am a resident just to the north of that property on the same side of the street, 11089 Wilson Boulevard. My husband and I purchased 13 acres with a 3-acre pond on it. And we are one of the few residents within the town limits that is also a business owner in this community that has been running and operating Blythewood Pharmacy for almost 20 years. So I'm not opposed to new businesses, but I am opposed to, as Robert said, where a businesses district and residential district should have a distinction. So there are plenty other areas in the Blythewood area besides this residential area where this business could take place. And so I am vehemently opposed to this, and I would ask for your consideration in voting against the rezoning. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Commissioners, we obviously have some weighty opposition to the proposal. Are there any further thoughts or comments? Does anybody wish to speak to Mr. Ta'ala further?
I do. I have one more question for the applicant. Sorry. So I know this is going to be in public records, but just because it hasn't been questioned while we're here, how long have you owned the property, if you don't mind?
I haven't owned it yet, ma'am.
Okay.
It's owned by a private company.
Right, that's right. You were under contract to buy the property with the notion of it converting to this.
Yes, ma'am.
I gotcha. Okay, great. Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good. Okay, any further discussion? Can I hear a motion to approve the rezoning request as spelled out on the agenda? No one wishing to make a motion for? Is anyone wishing to make a motion against the rezoning request?
I motion.
We have a motion opposing the zoning request. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of denying the zoning request, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The zoning request is denied. Mr. Williamson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just want to clarify that you're recommending disapproval to Town Council, that this will still go to Town Council at the next meeting as a public hearing.
That's our understanding, yes, but so that everybody here also understands that. Yes. Okay. All clear? All right, we'll move on. Item 3 under other business is a discussion of actions following the adoption of the comprehensive plan. Again, Mr. Williamson, would you like to set the scene for us?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just so on February 28th, Town Council approved second reading of the comprehensive plan. So we are fully adopted now. So what I included in your packet is what we put together as a kind of a spreadsheet that all those goals that were as a part of each element in the comprehensive plan, kind of put them in one spreadsheet. So those will be what basically the working document aspect of the comprehensive plan, and so that's what I'll be updating. So I would like for y'all to review that and be familiar with it, and then I kind of on an annual basis will come back and give status of where we are on those goals, and those goals are short, medium, and long-range goals. So I just wanted to point that out as kind of a follow-up to adoption of the comprehensive plan. Secondly, at the first reading of the comprehensive plan for Town Council, the Mayor Franklin asked that the Planning Commission take a look at McNulty Street and Creech Road extension. Those are part of the Penny projects that will be redeveloped, and I cannot get those images, but I may email those to you so you're familiar with it. But it's basically, they're just putting in new sidewalks, and so I asked for an update from the staff at Richland County on where they are on this project. So just to kind of give you all the latest. The preliminary plans are done. They've been submitted for review by the county. The plans should be submitted to DOT for the closeout from any previous comments. The right-of-way is 99% complete, and construction plans are 93% complete. So very much nearing the completion of the plan, where they would then put forward to bids to start construction. So I'll continue to keep you updated on that, and maybe get them to come here as well, so y'all can take a look at that and see exactly what's going to be going on. Let's see. Finally, following a comprehensive plan, the zoning ordinance is based on those goals. So I will be putting in the budget a proposal to get a rewrite of the zoning ordinance, because there's a lot of things in here that are kind of not really reflective of the comprehensive plan now, and so I'll be putting that in the budget. So they will certainly, you'll be working closely with them as we rewrite the zoning ordinance as I propose. So just want to touch on those things as kind of follow up now that the comprehensive plan has been adopted.
I appreciate that, Mr. Williamson. I've learned through the TPAC meeting last week that they are actually now videoing their meetings, so anyone that's interested can actually listen or watch the dialogue going on, and they certainly talked about Blythewood, Creech Road, and Mcnulty. And as you say, they are very, very close to completing the right-of-way details, and once that's clear, then that really does pave the way, literally, for making a start. So it's been a long time waiting, but it'll be really good to see those two key areas starting to be improved and facilitating business and economic development within the town. So that was really positive news. The comprehensive plan and the list of objectives, as you say, that's on the town website now. In the packet, we have all of the different projects listed together, but they are also broken out into short-term, medium-term, and long-term. So that's a useful way of seeing what is a priority and what's further away. And I did just want to touch on the mayor's list. I know he is, and we are anxious to make sure that we don't miss anything because of the overlap between his list and what's in the comprehensive plan. I think approximately half of the items on the mayor's list is actually covered in the comprehensive plan goals and objectives. And then there's a remainder, in my opinion, are just operational decisions. They're standalone. Most of them don't need any kind of funding or research. They're things that probably staff can present to council as and when the opportunity presents itself. So I think providing that there's that understanding, we won't miss a trick and miss out on any of the things that the mayor was anxious to put in place, and which a lot of citizens from the town had raised and contributed to forming that list. So, and I'm really excited about the fact that we've now got the plan approved and we can start moving forward on the zoning. As we've heard tonight, there's some concerns about the existing zoning, and I hope that with the relook at the town zoning and the types of businesses and activities that will be included, will just help everyone's understanding and facilitate the introduction of the comprehensive plan. And that's going to be a live document as well, because we're still waiting on some of the outcome from the 2020 census. We've only got part of that information, and as we get more and more information through from the Census Bureau, we'll be able to refine and improve on the objectives that we've got laid out. So I think that's, unless anyone else has got any questions about our step forward or our next steps forward.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to mention this. The comprehensive plan was a year behind because it gave us an extra year to complete it, so it's at 2020, 2030. So now we're at 2022. So at 2025, we'll do an update of all these elements, just so you know that's a standard. It's actually a requirement as well, so it won't be far off.
Right. I can start thinking about it now. Okay. So, on the formal agenda, we're at item number 4, open citizen comments. Does anybody present wish to make any further comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. That's a motion. Second. We have a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, everybody. This meeting is adjourned.